Good evening and welcome. This is a meeting of the Special Education Advisory Committee of the Halton District School Board for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. First, we'll start with a roll call to record who is in attendance. Katie, is it okay if I ask you to do that this evening?
Absolutely. I'm sorry for any background noise from my little guy who might be chirping. Yelena King, Center for Diverse Learners.
Here.
Great. Kate Lambacher, Association for Bright Children. Oh, no, sorry. She sends her regrets. Amanda Winch, Autism Ontario.
Here.
Jennifer Laguerre, I believe she's going to be late for logging in today. Sierra Kernick, Community Living Burlington.
Here.
Melissa Dockeray, Easter Seal Society.
Here.
Sophia Siddiqui, Halton Down Syndrome Association. Aaron Sproul from Voice sends his regrets. Kaisa Klassen.
Present.
Katie Schleifer, present. Trustee Ahmed.
Good evening, everyone.
Trustee Baxter.
Good evening.
Trustee Oliver. Trustee Zhang.
Good evening.
Superintendent Ruddick.
Good evening.
And Principal Spruan.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have Summer Sweetman from Communications.
Thank you. Now we will begin our meeting by honoring the land. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Ottawandaron, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walk before us, and all of the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. The first item this evening, we will approve the agenda. Could I ask for a mover to approve the agenda, please? Thank you, Amanda. Would anyone like to second this motion?
I will.
I second.
Okay, I think Katie won that one, so thank you, Katie. Are there any modifications or amendments that need to be made to the agenda? If so, please indicate your wish to speak by raising your hand. Okay, seeing none, I'll ask if there's any opposition to the agenda as it stands. If you oppose the agenda, please indicate that now. None being seen, the agenda is approved unanimously. Next is the approval of our January 22, 2025 meeting minutes. Oh, yes, go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, I was volunteering to approve it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Amanda, for moving the motion to approve the minutes. Could I have someone second, please? Thank you, Kaisa. If there's any opposition to the minutes as recorded, please indicate by raising your hand now. None being seen, the January 22, 2025 meeting minutes are approved unanimously. So we'll move now on to our action items. Item 2.1 tonight, we're going to start with a discussion about a letter that we received from the Ottawa Catholic School Board, SEAC, which was attached to the meeting minutes emailed to all committee members. They have asked if we'd like to add our signature to a letter that they have written to the Ministry of Education regarding special education program resource funding shortfalls, inadequate staffing and transportation funding, as well as educational assistant shortages. Regarding EA shortages, the letter suggests that the ministry consider several strategies that include free tuition for EA programs at Ontario colleges, retention bonuses, improved professional development and working conditions, as well as stable employment contracts. The Ottawa School Board hopes to have the letter signed by all interested SEACs by Friday, February 28th, so we're bringing this evening for a vote. I would like to make a motion that I sign this letter on behalf of our committee. And I'd like to ask if there's anyone who would like to second this motion so we can bring it to the floor and have a discussion.
I will.
Thank you, Katie. Are there any questions or comments regarding this opportunity to add our SEAC as a signatory to this letter? I hope everyone was able to find it attached to the email this evening. Seeing no hands, we'll move now to a vote. If you would like to vote in favor of adding our SEAC to the signatories on this letter, please raise your hand now.
It looks like that's unanimous.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. So we'll move on now to item 2.2. In December, there was some rich discussion prompted by an observed reduction in engagement in the committee this year, including occasions where we were unable to attain quorum, thereby leading to the cancellation of a meeting. We moved into breakout rooms in December to give some space for discussion around any challenges or barriers that members may be experiencing to participating on SEAC at the moment, and to discuss ideas and strategies that we could use to perhaps increase engagement and strengthen the role of this committee. Also attached to the email for this meeting this evening was a list of ideas and perspectives that were shared. And we were thinking this evening we could take a few minutes to discuss those ideas and get some feedback on thoughts to perhaps implement one or more of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that list myself. So I wonder if anyone, I see some hands raised. Just wondering if anybody would like to comment or suggest any of the items on that list that we should perhaps consider trying. Yelena, I see your hand is up. Is that?
I don't think those ones ever went down.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's from the vote, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Trustee Ahmed, is your hand also from the vote? Or would you like to make a comment?
No. Sorry. It was from the vote. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. So I'm not sure how many people on the call this evening participated in those discussions in December. But if there's anything on the list that resonates.
So I'll go ahead. I was part of the discussion. And sorry, Sophia, I should put my hand up like a good student. I really like the idea of, I think Conan and I were in the same group for this one. We were talking about having like a meet in person, like one meeting where we decide we're going to do something in person, like whether it be like a meal together or something after the meeting where we meet up, where we get to interact, as people outside of the meeting. I really like that one. And I thought that would really help engagement and give us the opportunity to know each other a little bit outside of, the parameters of a virtual space. So I really like that one. And it would be nice to do it either in office or at a patio or something afterwards in one of the warmer months.
Thank you, Katie. I think that would be a great idea. I'm just looking at thinking about the calendar and what's to come. I'm wondering if May might be a good month. It's June tends to be quite busy. I think
that's what we had talked about. I mean, I know everyone wasn't in our breakout session, but I think May was the month that we suggested would be a good one because June is definitely tricky.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sophia.
Hi, everyone. Apologies, I did miss the last meeting when you had the breakout rooms, but I love the idea of definitely getting to know each other. I think I also feel disconnected from others on SEAC this time around because I haven't met many of them in person. For sure, I think after COVID, it's been more difficult. But I think back in the day, like for example, the December meeting, we always had like dinner together, and so that way we got to connect, got to know everybody. So I think for sure, maybe an in-person meeting next time or a social would definitely help.
Great, thank you. So we'll take that away and look at what the options are and bring it back to the committee and gauge availability. But if we plan for May, that hopefully will be enough time for arrangements to be made, and hopefully the weather will be better, a little less snowy. Thank you. So this can be an ongoing conversation. If there's ever any other ideas or thoughts that anyone has to share, please feel free to reach out. We're looking for as much engagement as possible on the committee, of course. Also understanding that many committee members have family commitments and employment commitments, and it's evening, so it can be challenging. So we're wanting to find that balance of full participation and ability to serve on the committee, and also the engagement. So if there's no other comments or questions on this one, like I said, we'll take that away and come back with a plan for May. But please, in your own calendars, maybe just make a note on the May meeting to try to be in person in Burlington. It'd be great to have a full room here. Okay, so we're moving along here quite quickly. So item 2.3 is to revisit the special education plan standard number 10, which is individual education plans, IEPs, and specifically this meeting to look at the guide to working together, the section on IEPs. So this is, as I think everyone in the committee knows, the public-facing, parent-facing document that explains how the board's special education programming is structured. So again, this material was linked, was in the agenda, is linked to the agenda, so you can find that there. So we're now going to move into discussions in breakout rooms. We've got 2 different breakout rooms that we'll be split into. So we'll just give staff a few minutes to get that set up for us, and we'll look forward to having a discussion soon. Thank you. Back, everyone. Oh, sorry. We're just getting ourselves back into our main room, both physically and digitally. So we'll just give Superintendent Ruddick a second to come back in. Your volume's on. So we ran out of time, and
You can let Colette know that her screen's still on.
There we go.
okay. So we had a really rich discussion in our room, as I'm sure was in the other. So I just wanted to say thank you to those who were in the room that I was in. We went right down to the very last second. So thank you so much for that conversation. I know that Conan was taking lots of notes, and I have a whole bunch as well. It's such an important aspect of this committee to get feedback from parents that are interacting with special education in the board, as well as organizations that are supporting families. And I think these types of breakout rooms, I'm finding them really, really valuable and a great opportunity to sort of dig into specific topics. So thank you so much to everyone who participated in that. I know there's lots of notes that will go back to the special education team to inform planning for this year's development of the next plan. Yep, Katie, go ahead.
I just wanted to echo the same sentiment. And also, when we're talking about engagement, I think putting people into these smaller breakout rooms has been helpful to getting the points of view of lots of the other members and just kind of increasing the volume of discussion, but also the people who contribute. So I'm really enjoying it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Katie. I would suggest this become a standing item on our agenda to look at the various aspects and get that kind of feedback at committee. It seems to be working really well. And just again, thank you to everyone who participated this evening. So we're moving on now to 3.0 on the agenda, which is the SEAC discussion and question period. So speaking of discussion, if anyone has any specific questions or topics that they would like to raise this evening, please raise your hand and you will have the floor. So I'm not seeing any hands, but as always, if there's anything that you think of in between meetings, ideas for things that we should be talking about at committee that we're not, please go ahead and reach out to Laura and share those ideas. Thank you. So we'll move on now to item 4, which is communications to SEAC, and we'll start with the superintendent's report. We all received a written report earlier, and I'll just ask Colette to provide a brief summary and any other information. Thank you.
All right. I think we have already welcomed Yelena, but just a formal welcome to Yelena King, our newest SEAC member representing the Center for Diverse Learners. We're thrilled to have you a part of SEAC. We had some wonderful events for students over the last 2 months. The sports festival days and a soccer baseball tournament. And Conan, if you don't mind, I'm going to have you speak to how things unfolded and the successes of both those events.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Colette. So we had a soccer baseball tournament at Craig Kilberger. So we had 6 different high schools within our board and approximately 270 CPE students who participated in the 2nd annual Community Pathways Program Soccer Baseball Tournament. The tournament was supported by student volunteers who helped to run this competitive event. There was round robin events in the dome, and we also had a dance party happening in the gym as well, too, with lots of sensory activities and other fun things to do. It's a great opportunity for our kids to show their adaptive abilities in the sports, and also gives the chance for the staff and the students just to have a lot of fun and connect with other students from across our board. CK, Craig Kilberger, has already told us that they're going to run this event again next year, so we're really looking forward to that. We've also had the Sports Festival, which is in partnership with our Special Olympics Ontario. We are the largest Special Olympics event that we do with this organization for them. We also had police officers from Halton who came across to support our students. all kinds of fun events that they did with the students, the police officers, such as basketball and soccer, and they posed for lots of photos. We had 3 days. However, one of the days was postponed because of weather. So the first 2 days were in February. We do have a rescheduled makeup date, which is going to be on April 22nd. So the students, on the day that it was canceled because of the weather, will get an opportunity to participate. Each day we had well over 100 students who participated in our board, every student from K to 8. Any student who can benefit from this event is welcome to come, but it primarily has our students from our CPE program. We also had tons and tons of parents who came and took pictures and participated with their kids. Our registration completely filled up as soon as we put it out there. And just some of the events that we had there: basketball, bowling, dance stations, floor curling, soccer, mini golf. We also had students from leadership teams at both PL Robertson and Boyne help volunteer and help run the events. So those students would show up early, set up the events, help with everything that is needed. And we also want to thank the Velodrome. They've been great hosts. It's a very positive, well-received event. I actually had one teacher who came up to me and kind of gave me a shake by the shoulders and says, "Thank you so much for this. This is why I got into teaching. This is why I do what I do." So it really is a positive day. We're really happy we can make up another makeup day on April 22nd. And we've already confirmed that we're going to do it all again next year. So thanks very much, everyone.
Sorry, Conan, can I ask a really quick question?
Sure.
Do you know if the CPP kids are going to join the track and field that normally takes place in the spring? Because that is an amazing, amazing program. It'd be awesome. Like I've talked to some CPP staff who have always wondered why they're not a part of that and would love to be, if it's possible. Like, any ideas how that works?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something we've discussed. I'll be open to say that it's not something that we could probably pull together this year. We do have a number of events for our CPP kids, like as the soccer, baseball is one, but a number of events.
Amazing, by the way. Thank you for that.
That a number of events that we have throughout the year. I do know in terms of doing the track and field event for the elementary, it is quite a big event. In order to do one for the secondary, that would require an entire second event to be able to run that, just in terms of logistics and organization and getting volunteers and fundraising. So it is something we have looked at. We have been trying to service the CPP program with 6 or 7 sort of smaller events like the soccer, baseball throughout the year. It is something we are considering. Again, I will say it is something that wouldn't happen this year.
For sure,
it is something in terms of, because I said it would have to be a totally separate event from the elementary one.
Oh, really? So you wouldn't have the capacity to have the CPP kids join that event?
It would not. We would definitely not have the capacity to, at one site, to be able to do that. It would have to be a totally separate event, just given the logistics and the size of the elementary and the amount of students that we have and the amount of equipment that we have to use and also rent. And organizing like vendors and food and everything. It is quite, it does take us months to just plan the elementary event alone.
I think for our kiddos, or like the ones that have been going since grade 1, it's like, it's such a disappointment in grade 9 to be like, oh, sorry, you're not invited. It's such an amazing event. So if we could look into it, and if you want to start a committee and you need SEAC members, I'd be happy to help. But it's such a phenomenal event of bringing just everybody together. That if maybe for next year we can look at that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much for the feedback. Yeah. And like I said, it is something we have considered. It's just looking at there is a lot of logistics behind that for sure. So, yeah.
Katie, did you have a question?
I'm glad Sophia mentioned that again, because I know she mentioned it at the end of last year. I think it was June, after we had the sports day. Also, I just want to say, Conan, thank you for rescheduling that event, because my son was on the cancellation day and I had not heard that it was going to be held in April. So I'm delighted.
Yeah, and we just confirmed that, and I won't take any credit for that. It was one of my IPLs, Penny Stevens, who took the lead to coordinate being able to reschedule that. So we are awesome. Excited that it is going to happen on April 22nd. Yes.
Awesome. I will mark the date down. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. And then the last thing in my report is just some information around the mental health and well-being sessions and support. There's quite a comprehensive list on our website, and it's linked into the agenda email, a really wide range of offerings for parents and for students around mental health and well-being supports outside of school hours. So they're after school sessions, evening sessions, etc. So by all means, visit the well-being page to learn more about what's coming up.
Thank you, Superintendent Ruddick. We'll move on now to the association reports. Please raise your hand if there's anything you'd like to share from your association this evening. Yep, go ahead, Yelena.
So I have just a couple of announcements for some things that are available, or I just want to bring to your attention from CDL. I'm not, and I can send the flyers for this to Laura if that is helpful. The first thing I wanted to mention was, or just bring attention to, there is the 14th Annual Solutions for Learning Conference that will be running March 18th through the 21st. And this year theme highlights actionable solutions to support neurodiversity in classrooms, workplaces, and homes. So there will be expert speakers, there'll be virtual discussions, and a community-driven in-person panel night. The one thing I did want to point out is that there is parents caregivers evening that is free to any parent that resides in Halton, and that'll be on Thursday, March the 20th. And in this session, I guess they'll be speaking about, tools for supporting children at home and advocating within schools. So I just wanted to bring your attention to that. And I believe they are $60 for the virtual sessions, and then virtual plus panel is $75. But as I mentioned, it is free to parents who'd like to attend the evening for parents and caregivers. So that's the one thing. And then the second thing is something that I just wanted to also highlight. And so after the March break, from March 17th to June the 27th, there will be a free drop-in program for high school students, grade 9 to 12, neurodiverse teens who need help with homework, tutoring, and mental health support. And this is for kids in the Halton Hamilton area. And there are two locations for this. They're both actually in Oakville. One is at Glen Abbey, and it'll be run Monday and Wednesdays from 3:30 to 5:30. You don't have to register for this. Students are just encouraged to show up. And the second location is at White Oaks, and this is 3 to 5 Tuesday and Thursdays. I believe at that location there is a school that's connected, so students can just kind of walk in. So anyways, I guess really the purpose of this is to help remove those barriers, that neurodiverse kids might be experiencing as it relates to, managing schoolwork and need extra help. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. And what's great about this is that it actually is a pilot project. It will be run twice. And so with some funding from the Ontario Trillium, and hopefully, there'll be some data gathered, and maybe this is something that will be successful and maybe might be offered more regularly. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Oh, Sophia, I think you had a question.
I did. Thank you, Helena. That sounds amazing. And are you able to send an email to SEAC members about that? I'd love to share that with my family.
Oh, absolutely. I have the 3. Is that how we do it? Do we send it to everyone, or do we send it to Laura, who then disseminates it? I guess I'm new to this, so I don't know how that works.
Oh, that's a great question. If you just send it to Laura, Laura will make sure it gets out to everyone on SEAC, and then she can also include it in the minutes that get posted on the HDSB site.
Okay, I will send that over later this evening.
Thank you so much, Helena. And sorry, I'm going to piggyback because you just reminded me of a question I had for Colette. Colette, I've noticed some emails have gone out from high schools to families around extra support for literacy and numeracy in preparation for EQAO. I'm just wondering, like, nothing was mentioned to help to provide any of that support for students in CPP or any neurodiverse students. How would that work? Who provides funding for that? Like, I know many of our kids don't write the tests, but could absolutely benefit from some extra support for numeracy and literacy. So I like some families ask me like, oh, can we fill the survey out too? And would we be provided with that extra support after school? And so I sort of didn't know who to ask about that. I think that's a valid question if we want to be inclusive. But is that a decision that you would make at the board level and share that with programs? Because I do feel if you look at from an equity lens, if extra support is being provided for the mainstream students that are writing the tests, I think it's only fair if we put it out there, whether families choose to or not, we offer that for our kids in our CVP programs too.
So that's a really good question, Sophia. And I would really need to take that back. I know it's a program that's run through our Gary Allen Learning Center. So those are our concurrent education or our adult education center. And the ministry allows us to run these additional kind of intensive supports for students in very specific areas. So I know in secondary, it's around the OSSLT. I don't know if they have flexibility to run these intensive support sessions for in other areas or outside of the OSSLT. I know they do in elementary, but I don't know about secondary. So I'll have to look into that and bring that back.
If you could, yeah, because I mean, even providing one extra class and you putting a staff member in there, because the parent said to me, well, what if I say that I want my kid to write OSSLT and I want that extra support? And I didn't know what to say to them. I said, well, I guess you could if parents have that right. If you, so I just, and then the question came out, the discussion happened with some families of kids with Down syndrome, and they said, well, it's not really inclusive. And several people shared that, oh, well, my high school sent that email out too. And I wasn't sure if it's offered to us and why isn't it? And could I take this back? So Helen actually prompted that discussion, reminded me of that question. So could you look into that for me and then let me know? Because people are waiting for an answer. I wanted to share.
Yep,
because it is time sensitive because I know these classes are starting up soon. And you may not get any families sign up, but I think it's only fair to offer it to them if it's possible. So yeah, if you could let me know, that would be great.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. Sierra?
I just wanted to share, I learned last year I was at the autism conference down in Toronto, and one of the booths that was set up there for educational supports was TVO. They used to have they have the TV channel, TVO Kids. They have like a digital learning platform that is the same as the school curriculum, follows along with all of the grades. And they do free tutoring for individuals, and it can be geared for folks with disabilities as well. That might also be an option that families can access at home for just extra support that goes along with what they're learning at school.
Great, thank you for sharing that, Sierra. I believe it's called. Now I'm drawing a blank, but I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of the platform that's run by TVO and funded through the Ministry of Education.
Yeah, TVO Learn.
Is that like online support, Sierra? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's online support, and they can have. So I know one of the families that's at one of the schools here in Burlington was utilizing it since I had introduced them, and they said that they were able to schedule like phone calls, and the tutor was able to call the house, and they were able to figure out what homework they were doing, and able to walk the student through all of the different steps in practicing the homework at home.
That's amazing. Can someone share a link for that? Because again, like I've had so many families asking me about things like this, and I actually didn't know about that TVO. That'd be awesome. So it's just tvo.ca. Can go. Maybe is it easy to find?
Yeah, tvolearn.com. I can also share that link to Laura to send out as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Are there any other associations that would like to speak this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the trustees' report. Trustee Zhang, could I ask you to do that this evening?
Hi, hello everyone. So I'd like to provide a brief report about the recent PIC conference. Actually, every year our PIC conference has a lot of information and a lot of community organizations and they came to our PIC conference and they have a table. I still remember last year the TVO Learn came to our conference. They have a table and they share the information with the parents. So that's very useful. So there's a lot of valuable information to share in this event. So I would like to invite more parents to join. Early this month, our school board held the annual Parent Involvement Committee conference in Milton. This year, our keynote speaker, Dr. Alex Russell, gave a speech about the anxiety and the important role of the parents. Dr. Russell is a clinical psychologist. He is also the author of the Drop the Worry Wall, How to Parent in the Age of Entitlement. Anxiety is a big topic in children's mental health. Dr. Russell's presentation has a lot of valuable information to cover how to handle those situations. HDSB invites experts in various in educational areas to our conference. This year, PIC conference changes the schedule. The next conference probably in November. So don't miss the opportunity to attend our next conference. And early this year, some of our special education related community organizations and our SEAC members expressed the interest to join. There are many ways to participate. It is a great opportunity to share your expertise. If your organization likes to have a table or hold a workshop, please reach out to the PIC committee. The conference planning will start in summer break. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Trustee Zhang. I wonder, Laura, if we could ask as well for, sorry, I should already know this. I think PIC has a website. I wonder if that link could also be shared with committee members to see more information on that planning that Trustee Zhang was mentioning. Thank you. So we'll move on now to committee reports. So we have SEAC representatives sitting on a few standing committees. The Accessibility and Coordinating Committee, believe, Katie, you will be representing SEAC on that committee soon, but not quite started yet. Yep, perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. The Mental Health and Wellbeing Strategy Steering Advisory Committee, our rep is Kate Lembacher, and unfortunately she is not with us this evening, I don't think. Okay, so we will move along to item 5, which is next agenda. Are there any other items that committee members would like added to the upcoming agenda? If there's any ideas you'd like to share now, please do so. But as always, you can reach out to Laura if you think of something in between meetings and help to build the next agenda. So I'll just give an opportunity if there's anyone who had anything they'd like to suggest or any questions to ask. Okay, so seeing none, we are on to our last item on the agenda, which is the adjournment. We have exhausted the agenda for the evening, so I will go ahead and adjourn our meeting with a reminder that the next meeting will be on March 26th at the usual time, 7 p.m. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.